there is a silent cruelty embedded in the way humans perceive one another, a judgment that occurs faster than thought. Before you speak, before you extend your hand, before you demonstrate your talents or offer your wisdom, the world has already decided your place. In a single glance, others assess your strength, your influence, your value. If you appear weak, you are prey. If you appear diminished, you are ignored. Intelligence, integrity, and skill mean little if your presence signals vulnerability or lack. This is not conjecture. It is a biological response wired into every human being. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He warned that people are naturally drawn to appearances, and most people, the crowd, are swayed more by what they see than what they know. Think back to moments when you entered a room and sensed the subtle shift in atmosphere, the quiet dismissal in someone's gaze. You have witnessed lesser men clumsy, unremarkable, even malicious receive opportunities simply because they looked confident, capable, or belonged, while you were left to linger on the margins. This is not luck, this is the unyielding geometry of perception, the invisible architecture of human evaluation. Until you master it, the world will conspire against you in ways both subtle and overt. Many believe poverty is defined by currency, by the emptiness of a wallet or the scarcity of resources. They are mistaken. To the human animal, poverty is a scent, a signal of weakness, and nature instinctively recoils from weakness. A person who appears diminished, slumped shoulders, hesitant movements, unkempt appearance activates a predatory instinct in others. You invite exploitation, contempt, and dismissal. Conversely, by mastering your presence, by learning to project authority even before it is fully yours, you manipulate perception. Machiavelli called this the mask of the prince, the deliberate projection of power to command respect, to make reality bend to your image. The first step is understanding the subtle signals you broadcast. Every posture, every glance, every hesitant movement conveys a story to those around you. If your body language is apologetic, if your gaze avoids others, if you move like someone who expects rejection, you are telling the world you are disposable. It is a harsh truth, but it is unavoidable. Human brains seek shortcuts, and appearances are the most efficient shortcut. They bypass investigation, bypass understanding, and reach a verdict instantly. A disheveled shirt, a stooped posture, a lack of energy. These are enough to label you as incompetent, lazy, or unworthy, regardless of your intellect or talent. Poverty, in this sense, is not just a state of being. It is contagious in perception. Others fear being associated with it. They sense failure, scarcity, and risk, and their instinct is to withdraw or exploit. Machiavelli noted that men judge more with their eyes than their hands. Everyone sees, but few experience the truth beneath. When you present yourself as diminished, the world interprets it literally. You are weak, expendable, and unworthy. To survive and ultimately thrive, you must learn to craft your image with precision. Your exterior is not superficial. It is your armor, your first line of defense, and your key to unlocking opportunity. The world does not operate on fairness. It operates on efficiency. The human mind is a relentless machine, optimized to conserve energy. It does not dig through layers of character to uncover hidden brilliance. It takes the easiest path, and that path is always appearance. When you present yourself as weak, unkempt, or uncertain, you are not just invisible, you are signaling surrender. You are handing the verdict to others before they have to consider your abilities. You are declaring, I am beneath notice. Treat me as such. And they do. They will. Consider the horn effect, the dark twin of the halo effect. One perceived flaw, one signal of disarray, becomes a filter through which everything else about you is interpreted. A cracked shoe suggests laziness. Slumped shoulders imply failure. Hesitant speech signals incompetence. Humans instinctively connect visible disorder with internal disorder. They assume that if you cannot govern the smallest, most visible aspects of your life, you cannot govern larger challenges. If you cannot maintain your appearance, why would anyone trust you with decisions, influence, or resources? Discipline is visible. Control is visible. Chaos is visible. Chaos is visible. This is why the truly poor are not merely economically disadvantaged. They are easy targets. They are overpoliced, overcharged, and underserved. Society preys on weakness. Conversely, the man who projects authority even before his wealth or power fully exists is treated differently. He enters negotiations calm, measured, deliberate. His grooming is precise, his movements controlled, his voice steady. He signals abundance, even if he's building it. The world interprets this as competence, reliability, and low risk. People are wired to invest in strength and scarcity. If you look desperate, you will rarely receive support. If you look formidable, opportunities flow to you, often without your asking. Fake it till you make it is not a cliché. It is survival strategy. It is Machiavellian pragmatism applied to modern life. The projection of strength creates real strength. By crafting the image of power, you force the world to acknowledge it. The mask you wear begins to shape your behavior, your decisions, and ultimately, your reality. You no longer act like someone who needs help. You act like someone who commands respect. You no longer wait for permission to succeed. You take it. The exterior and interior are intertwined. Appearances are not superficial. They are the scaffolding upon which your destiny is built. This principle extends beyond clothing or posture. It is in your presence, your gaze, your interactions. A man who avoids eye contact, who fidgets, who over-explains, signals scarcity. He communicates a need for validation, approval, and acceptance. Abundance, by contrast, is calm. Power is still. The predator does not announce itself. It moves deliberately, with confidence, taking up space, asserting authority without noise. The wealthy, the influential, the powerful, what they share is not just resources, but demeanor. They understand that every interaction is a transaction of perception. When you mimic this, when you embody this, you create hesitation in others. That hesitation is leverage. Even small details matter. A cracked phone, unpolished shoes, wrinkled clothing, slouched posture. These are not minor flaws. They are signals of vulnerability. Discipline costs nothing but time and attention. Polishing, grooming, and maintaining your environment are acts of self-respect that translate directly into social and professional leverage. The world mirrors the respect you show yourself. If you treat your presence as disposable, others will bargain with it. If you treat your presence as valuable, even scarce, the world bends to accommodate you. Ultimately, power begins with perception. It is not a mask of deceit, it is the armor of survival. By controlling how others see you, you dictate how they treat you, the opportunities they offer, and the risks they are willing to take on your behalf. This is the invisible battlefield where most men are defeated before the first move is made. The outward projection of strength, authority, and calm is your first and most essential weapon. Without it, even talent, skill, and brilliance are irrelevant. Appearance is more than clothing or grooming. It is the signal you send to the world before you utter a single word. When you neglect it, you are announcing weakness, scarcity, and vulnerability. The body speaks first, louder than your ideas, louder than your intentions. Shoulders slumped, eyes cast down, a hurried or hesitant stride. These are the habits of someone who believes the world owes them attention. It does not. The world responds only to signals it understands: strength, confidence, composure. By failing to control these signals, you surrender before the battle even begins. Silence, posture, and stillness are weapons that too few understand. The man who dominates a room rarely shouts. He occupies space with authority. His gaze is steady, measuring, unflinching. By contrast, the man who appears needy speaks incessantly, explaining himself, justifying his presence, apologizing for existing. Noise is the loudest declaration of poverty. It is the signal of someone who fears being overlooked, someone desperate for validation. Abundance, on the other hand, is calm. Power waits. It observes. It allows others to reveal their weaknesses while projecting certainty. The predator's stillness is deliberate. It is strategic. Even wealth alone cannot substitute for disciplined presentation. A man in a luxury suit who moves like a victim still looks poor. A king in rags who walks with confidence commands respect. Machiavelli recognized that appearances shape reality. The mask is not falsehood, it is a tool of influence. When you act like a man of power, the world begins to treat you as one. This is the essence of the mask of the prince. The projection of authority creates tangible advantages. Doors open, resources flow, opportunities appear. The exterior sets the stage for internal transformation. The mask eventually becomes the face. The environment you cultivate is equally important. The people you associate with, the spaces you occupy, even the objects you surround yourself with, all communicate value. Humans instinctively judge by association. Walk with the defeated, and their aura transfers to you. Surround yourself with competent, successful, and confident individuals, and the halo effect reflects onto you. This requires emotional hardness. Loyalty is noble, but in the arena of influence and opportunity, optics dictate outcomes. The quantity of your circle either reinforces your projection of strength or undermines it entirely. Every detail matters. The cleanliness of your shoes, the alignment of your attire, the way you hold your body, even the condition of your possessions send subtle but powerful messages. Broken, neglected items suggest disorder. Impeccably maintained, simple objects suggest discipline and control. These small, deliberate acts of attention accumulate into a perception of abundance and authority. They create hesitation in others, a split second where they reassess your potential threat, your value, your relevance. That split second is often the difference between being overlooked and being elevated. Ultimately, mastering appearance is not vanity, it is strategy. It is a conscious exercise in influence, perception management, and self-respect. By controlling the signals you send, you shape how others interact with you, how opportunities present themselves, and how risks are allocated in your favor. Discipline of the exterior bleeds into the interior, transforming behavior, mindset, and outcomes. To ignore this is to invite exploitation, dismissal, and irrelevance. To master it is to wield power silently, decisively, and effectively. The final, and perhaps most overlooked, dimension of projecting power is the narrative you craft around yourself. Your life, your presence, and even your digital footprint are all signals to the world. Every post, every gesture, every interaction contributes to an invisible story about your value, competence, and authority. A man who overshares, complains, or constantly seeks validation broadcasts scarcity. He becomes predictable, vulnerable, and easily categorized as unworthy. By contrast, the man who curates his presence, who reveals selectively, who communicates intent rather than need, creates intrigue. Scarcity generates desire. Silence generates respect. Your appearance, actions, and associations are not just superficial, they are functional instruments of influence. Machiavelli's advice to the prince was not to be deceptive for the sake of dishonesty, but to be deliberate in projecting only what benefits him. If you are anxious, appear composed. If you are struggling, appear in control. If you lack resources, appear as though you move incognito, passing through the world unnoticed yet commanding attention. The moment you signal need, the predators circle. The moment you project confidence, even in scarcity, doors open, opportunities arise, and the world bends subtly in your favor. There is a profound paradox here. The more meticulously you remove every trace of vulnerability from your image, the more reality reshapes to reflect that power. You do not merely appear strong, you become strong. Confidence, decisiveness, and authority are cultivated through deliberate action, not waiting for external conditions to improve. The world does not reward the passive. It rewards those who engineer perception. Every iron shirt, polished shoe, and deliberate posture compounds, reinforcing a narrative of capability that others instinctively follow. They invest, they defer, they respect because the visual signals tell them it is safe to do so. Even small, everyday choices have outsized effects. Where you spend your time, how you interact with colleagues, the people you choose to surround yourself with, all of it signals whether you are a master or a participant in life's tragedies. To rise, you must associate with those who embody success. To remain overlooked, you may cling to comfort or loyalty, but the optics of failure will follow you. The world reads these signals quickly and without nuance, interpreting them as evidence of your potential. Machiavelli understood this principle centuries ago, warning that perception often precedes reality. Those who master it write their own fates. Ultimately, the art of not appearing poor is the art of survival, influence, and transformation. The exterior is not superficial. It is armor, leverage, and currency. By meticulously curating how you are seen, you force others to allocate opportunities, respect, and resources in your favor. The mask of the prince becomes the face of the prince. You train your body, control your gaze, maintain discipline in every detail, and surround yourself with power. You act before opportunity appears, because when you do, opportunity recognizes you as worthy. The choice is simple, yet brutal. Continue broadcasting vulnerability, waiting for validation, and remain invisible, or step into the armor of authority, project abundance, and claim your position in the world. Every eye that meets yours passes judgment. Will they see weakness or will they see mastery? The answer lies not in your wealth, talent, or character alone, but in the signals you send. Consciously and relentlessly, the world bows to those who command perception, and perception is the ultimate instrument of power.